Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. I would like to start this episode off by saying thank you to each and every one of you for watching these videos. You know, every now and then I like to make sure that you all know that I appreciate that you come and watch these videos. It is a great thing to do, to make YouTube videos. And what's this guy doing? Where's he going, eh? Don't think he even knows. Yeah, it's a great thing to do this, and just time goes by, you make video after video, and every now and then I like to have a chat and remind all of you that I do really appreciate you turning up and watching these videos. I have a fantastic time making them, and it seems like you have a great time watching them as well, which I think is brilliant. And so yeah, thank you very much, and we are going to start our next project in this episode. In the last couple of ones I mentioned that we had 3 projects in total. The first one was to finish this, we've done that. The second one was to make some stables, tame some horses and try breeding them. Now we've done that, but the breeding thing didn't really work out, and I spoke to Wubbi, who made an awesome video. I'll actually link to it in the description box. Pretty much tells you everything you need to know about these horses, and I asked him some questions about how the breeding works. And basically, the better the stats are on the 2 horses, when you breed them, you're very likely to get a worse stat. So there's like a chance of getting better or worse, and the better the stat is overall, the more likely you are to get the worse stat. So because of that, it means it's very likely each time we breed these horses we will get a slower one, and we would probably have to do a ridiculous amount of breeding to get something that was faster. So because of this, it makes, you know, getting the best horse possible an extreme grind, and one that I'm not really interested in. So I was told by Wubbi, and I've heard a lot of other people say it in the comments as well, the best way to get the fastest horses is to explore and to go into the wild and just find them and test them and tame them and all of that, and that's the way you'll get the fastest one possible. So that's something I'm looking forward to doing. We may be doing a little bit of that in this episode, because we're going to start off a project that I have been meaning to do for a couple of months now. I told the hermits a couple of months ago about this idea. Everyone really liked it, they were looking forward to it, and I have just not got around to doing it. So I'm going to explain to you what it is. It is going to be a very big project in which I'm going to get as much done as I can in this episode, and I'm confident we can do a fair bit. But the project is to build a racetrack for the horses. Now this racetrack, and it looks like this path goes around the corner here. I did not know this. Let's follow this. Probably goes up to slip space. This racetrack is going to go around the whole 1.7 Hermit Town area. It's going to go out in that direction somewhere, go all the way around past Hypno's base, past other people's bases, all the way back round here past the ribbon, and back to Hermit Town. So we're going to do a massive circle around all of the different terrain. Now my idea for this was to try and capture some of the different biomes that were in 1.7, and unfortunately we don't have some of the most unique ones nearby, but we do have some very interesting ones, and this is a really cool path. I like the glowstone, that is really cool. Yes, and it just kind of comes up to here and ends. And you have to hop up there to get in. That's awesome. So the overall idea for this racetrack is that we go through lots of different biomes. As I mentioned, not the best 1.7 ones are in this area, but we're going to go through lots of biomes. We're going to be going around all of the different things that people have done in this area, like the bases that they've built, and there's some really cool terrain out there to pass through as well. So the horse race isn't just going to be about racing, it's going to be about seeing all the different things in this area of the server as well, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, I don't know where exactly I'm going to start. I've got to figure out where the start of the racetrack will be, and I think it might be somewhere around this area. But the thing is, you could do it this way. You could have it so that the start, you go out and then you turn off to one side, and then when you come back after you've gone the whole way around the area, you come back into the starting area, so it's like a dead end. Or we could have it so it's a loop, and when you go through the finishing line, then the start line is in front of it and you can do laps. That one will probably be more preferred, but I don't know how we're going to do this, because we want to have the start of it close to the Hermit Town, and I think over in this area makes sense. It's next to the horse stables. There's some free area around here, but I've got to do a lot of planning and scouting out and figuring out where everything goes really, and I've got a feeling there is going to be a lot of tree chopping in this episode. We're going to be going through the middle of this biome over here, which has lots of trees, and I've only got these 2 axes, and neither of them have unbreaking on, so I might have to do some enchanting at some point, but that's not something we really want to worry about right now. I'll figure out where we're going to build the start of this, and I will get back to you. Well, it turns out we were looking at the ideal place to start this. There is a nice valley here, and then it dips down and goes back up into the forest biome, and there's a load of space back here behind it, and I'm thinking that this is the place to start. Now I've gone down and chopped down some of the trees so it's a little more open here. We can have it so it goes down. Obviously I'll do some terraforming so it's nice for the horses to go over, and then it could go back up and the track could start over there. So it would go off to the left, go all the way around this huge area, and when it comes back on the right the horses would then come back up here to the start of the track, and it gives us a lot of space back here to build something around it. Now the kind of thing that I was thinking I would be building would be seats on either side, but that only works really when you have like laps. Otherwise what are they going to be watching? What are the seats for? So there'll be some sort of buildings around the starting area, but I don't know what they are yet. However, what I'm going to be doing in this episode probably isn't a lot of building because we want to clear out the area for the track. And that is going to take me a long time, and I just want to focus on that at the moment. So I think what you're going to see from me is me just ploughing through this forest, you know, clearing all of the trees, making sure there's a path, doing some terraforming, and I'll keep you updated on it as I go along. So we're going to be doing a lot of that because this track has to go around a huge area before it comes all the way back to here. So this is going to be a really big project, that's for sure. So much time has passed by, and at last I can actually show you some progress. So let's walk over here. I have done all of this area of terraformed it. It's really nicely sloped, I think, for taking horses down and up. And you may be wondering why there's all of these fence posts. Well, I just put that in the middle, or what I felt was the middle of this valley, and I kept using it as a reference point when when going down here, and that actually really helped being able to, you know, as you're placing each of the dirt blocks, kind of look back and see how it all looks and lines up. And all of this down here, by the way, is completely filled in with dirt. I didn't do it hollow with torches underneath, I properly filled it in, so it has taken some time. And we're just going to walk through and have a look here. Now this area is quite wide and open, and I think it's a little bit too wide for what I'd like, so I'm probably going to plant down a couple of extra trees on this side and a few more over there as well, and try and get it a little more closed in feeling because it's quite open and quite wide at the moment. Now pretty much everything that you're seeing here that hasn't had grass on it or has grass on it has been terraformed, and I've been doing that so there's nice, you know, wide patches to go down, and there's smooth gradients with the slopes, etc, etc. Nothing really too much else to talk about other than that. Oh yeah, one thing that I've noticed is the grass really helps show the contours. So have a look here, we've got a couple of them in front of us, and the grass texture is just green, so you can kind of see it a little bit, probably even worse on a YouTube video, but having the grass come up, it allows you to see the edges. So look here, as we move forward you can see the grass kind of pops out, and so one thing I want to do is actually put grass down on all of these tracks. But that's going to take a long time. I'm just focusing on getting the path down at the moment. And if we go around here, you can see I've done more terraforming. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff I need to tell you about with this project at the moment. But as of right now, I just kind of want to walk through this first area and start on the next one. And I'll think about some of the other things to let you know about, because there's quite a lot of different things that's going to go into this over time, and it's going to involve other people as well. So when we get over to this bit, we come across a ravine. What I want to do here is create a bridge that's got glass on the floor, so you go straight across and you can see the ravine on either side, and that is actually a really nice feature. Maybe I should have made it so it goes over that bit somewhere up there, but then it's kind of close to this area. I didn't want to get too close to all of that, but let's go back to the path because it crosses over the ravine, it goes down here, and then there's a river, and that's as far as I've gone. So yeah, been doing a ton of terraforming. Now we're going to go over there. There's a roof forest somewhere in the distance. I can't wait to get to that bit, because what I'm thinking of doing there is having the track go over the top of the roofed forest, which should be possible because there are tons and tons of leaves on there, and I think that would be a really interesting part of the track. But right now I want to break up this episode a little bit. You've seen me talk about this a lot and do a lot for this horse track, and I had another customer at the hay bale shop, so I want to show you a clip of that. There's going to be a mini time lapse in there as well, and there goes the phone. Typical timing. Anyway, I said all I had to say. So we have some business over here at the hay bale store. Zombie Cleo swung by in one of her episodes to buy some, and she didn't read the signs. The prices had actually changed. Now at the time the special offer was 34 hay bales for 1 diamond, and then Mumbo cheekily went and raised, or even lowered, his price again to 35, and he still doesn't have any stock in there, and he's removed the out of stock sign, so I'm going to have to do something about that. But when Zombie Cleo was over here, the price was 34 for a diamond, and she didn't read the sign, she thought it was 32, but we're going to give her 34 for each one of these diamonds, and I think she wrote in the book as well. Yes, hello Asuma, I require 4 stacks of hay bales delivered to the museum. Cheers, Cleo. Okay, so actually we need to delete that now because this is a done dealio. And we don't want to click on sign, that's not what we want to do. We'll put that back in there. We will take these diamonds. Look at that, 8 diamonds, which is awesome. And then we need to take 8 stacks from here. Actually, we only need to take 6 because I've got a few in my ender chest. But look at that, we're running low already. We've only got 8 stacks left. I need to get back on farming, and you didn't see that, by the way. You don't know where they are stored. There we go, so we've got 8 stacks. Actually, I'm doing this wrong, aren't I? I need to grab a few more because the price was 34, and then we'll deliver this over to the museum. So I put down a couple of signs letting people know that the shop is still out of stock, and what kind of shop opens without any stock I do not know. But it is morning here, you might be able to tell from my voice, and my brain has not properly booted up yet because I was doing the maths here completely wrong. Of course it is 34 for a diamond, and I just grabbed 8 stacks like this because we had 8 diamonds. I can put them in there as well. We actually want to take half of these back. That 16 there is the extra 2 for each half stack. And very nearly gave Zombie Cleo almost double what she ordered, which would have been a disaster for our stock because we are, of course, running a little bit low. It's nice to be stocked up, but look at that. We do have plenty there for more customers. Ah, there we go. I'm starting to think if this is a good idea or not, placing them all down, because now Zombie Cleo's got to spend some time picking them back up. But there you go, we might have to change that and just put them in the chest, which is a little bit boring if you ask me. But 272 hay bales delivered to the museum, signed Asuma, and yes, I spelt hay with an E. That was actually an accident, it's spelt with an A, of course. But there we go, another job well done. So, I hope you enjoyed the clip. Let's get back into the horse track business. I have cleared out a lot more, so let's walk over and have a look at this. Now, here is a place where a bridge needs to be built. I cannot do all of this in one episode. What I'm going to be doing is just clearing out as much of the path as I can do, but I want this to be a community project. And what I plan on doing is breaking up the different areas into sections. For example, the bridge there would be a section, and then putting down like a sign system or something like that, and letting all of the hermits know that they are welcome to get involved in this project. So if you watch any other hermits and their videos, be sure to encourage them, because I really want to get everyone involved in this. I want it to be a big community thing, because by myself, you know, I can build a couple of bridges, but there's not a lot that I can do. For example, these pathways that I'm clearing out, they're just grass at the moment, and one thing I will do is put some fences down the signs, some kind of markers to show you where the track goes in general. But if we have more people chipping in and coming along and doing little bits, then we can make it a lot more colourful and interesting, and everyone can put their own touch on this track, which I think will be great. So it comes through over to this bit, and we need another bridge over here, and then it goes into the roofed forest biome. Now, I did talk about going over the top of this, but I decided that we would go underneath for the first bit because it only goes through here a little bit, and I kind of like how you got the leaves above you. It's a bit of a sheltered area, and again, this would benefit from having some fence posts down the sides. You know, not too many, just ones that kind of mark out the general outline, and you'll basically be able to go straight through to this bit. And that's why I didn't put the track on top of it, because it's just a short distance. Then we go through this field over here, so we go around to the side and then back round again, and then there's another little bit of roofed forest. So this one right here, I've just cut out the trees, and then what we're going to do is go on top of that roofed forest. Now, this is as far as I've come so far. It does take a fair bit of time doing all of this, and I thought I could hear an enderman then, maybe not. It's a spider by the sounds of it. If we throw an ender pearl up here, this bridge will probably come straight up to the top of... it is right here, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. That's the bit that I've just done. So the bridge down there is going to come up onto the top of this, and then you'll be able to ride over the top of the canopy, which I think is going to be really interesting. Now, we'll fill in all the little gaps and things like that with leaves, so it'll all look good. And then it's going to be a really unique experience, that's for sure. But there is an open area right here, because we're going to be heading in this direction. So I was thinking what I would try and do is get some saplings together and try and fill this up with the dark oak wood ones, which could take a fair bit of time because they don't drop a lot of saplings. But if we can fill that up with some trees, maybe some mushrooms as well, then we'll go straight across the middle there I didn't really want to leave a big open area. I wanted it so as you're going across, you know, there's nothing but the canopy around you. And then I think this part of the track is going to be really rememberable because it's not often that you come on top of these canopies, and you can see they're fairly easy to walk over, and with a horse that'll probably be even easier because they're wider, so you can't fall down any one wide little gaps. And then we just go off in this direction. I have no idea where it comes out. I've got a rough idea of where certain places are, but yeah, it's going to be a very interesting journey, that's for sure. So it's taken me a lot of time. We got a little visitor over here, and we got a creeper swimming around as well. I have spent ages on this canopy. It is now late, and I am very tired. But have a look at this. I've just put down some fence posts, and I'm thinking I need to take a little time to come up with something that acts as little markers on the side, but can look cool as well. Because these fence posts are just not very impressive. And this area over here, I was going to run the track through here originally, and I started filling it up with extra trees. I spent ages, you know, getting the saplings and filling them in. And then when it came to actually figuring out where I wanted to put this track, I decided that I would go this way because we want to go past different things that are in the area. And Schism's quarter pipe, which he started, and I don't know what's up with it at the moment. He'll probably finish it one day. But we can see that if we go in this direction. So you head down this way. It's like a tour of the Hermit's, you know, 1.7 area as well. And so it just goes over this way. You get a nice good view of that all the way on the corner of this area, and I need to eat. And I'm running out of food as well. But yeah, you can see that over in that corner, and then it steers off in this direction. And then just over the hill here is where I've gotten up to. So you can see I've been filling in all of these big gaps like this. And I think it's going to be absolutely awesome racing across the top of a canopy on horses. And the path just goes all the way down here, and then this bit right here is as far as I've got. So I want to show you what it is I want to do next. I won't be able to start that until I've gotten some sleep. It is really late at the moment. I've just been cracking on, getting as much of this done as I can. So this is as far as we've got, and I want it to go down here, all the way across, and then where you see there's this ridge across here, what I want to do is actually go down a little bit and go through this mountain, because I've noticed we've got this mountain area here, and it doesn't slope down, it's just kind of its own set of hills within the forest. So these trees right here, if we were to take them apart and just drop down a little bit and go through this, then when we come out on the other side, we're going to come out of another cliff side. So we go through here by a few blocks, then we come out on this cliff side over here, and we go back on the trees, and it won't be long before we drop down. Although one thing we could do is have the tunnel descend downwards to the bottom here, and we could go under the canopy, which could be really interesting. But I'm definitely going to have to figure out, you know, how far down it goes. Is it a little too steep? I will definitely consider that. So I guess when I record again, we'll either be on top of the canopy or under it. So what is that up ahead? That is the tunnel. I have done all of this next bit right here, been filling in the leaves around all of this area. You wouldn't believe how many leaves I've actually placed down the top here. And I've also got a horse with me now, and I rode across the top of this canopy, and I've got to say it is really fun on a horse. So I'm glad I decided to do this. It's a little bit unusual, but it's really awesome going over the top of it. So this is where the tunnel starts, and it goes all the way down to the floor at the bottom. That actually turned out to be perfect because I wanted to have it so there were 2 blocks between every time you drop down, and that would take you exactly from here all the way down to the bottom and level with the ground. So we go down under the canopy for the last part of this. You can see I've cleared out a nice path. Probably want to put a couple of fences here and there on the side just to show the way, but it curves around to the side here, and I want that because that is a dark oak sapling, and they are kind of difficult to get. And now we've got a spider after us. Take that. There we go. And yeah, so this is where we're up to now. I've got my horse up here on the hill, and what we're going to do, I think, is go alongside this swamp and go in a straight line over there, and then we're going to go round to the corner so we can see Hypno's base. So why don't we go and have a quick ride over to where we're going to be creating this path. Yep, there we go, I've got the lead. And the rest of this now is just going to be placing down fences on either side, doing a tiny bit of terraforming, but we're going to basically be going straight ahead over here. We're going to try and flatten things out a little bit so it's easier for the horse to go along, and then we're going to turn to the left before we get to the desert. So we go all the way into this corner, and this is just so we can see Hypno's base as we make our way around the track. So we will see the corner of it right there, then we'll turn to the right and we'll go straight ahead. And I think we're going to go through the desert. I did make some notes and I did scout out the entire area around the server before. That might have been me actually leaving those there. And if we go straight ahead, it means we get to go right alongside the village here. And then this could be a project as well. We could expand the village or do something with that, so there's something to see as you go along this horse track. But obviously, as I've already made it clear, I'm just outlining the track and I'm not building any of the things that are going to go on it at the moment. And I'm really glad that I came out here now, because now we get to go and see a savannah. So if we were to continue going straight ahead, then it looks like we would go right into one. So I was kind of planning on going left here at the desert, but maybe we will go into this savannah, although it looks like it kind of ends and there's an ocean behind it. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'll have a scout around this area and see what we can do, because maybe we'll have the track go around the side and come around the back of the savannah or something. It'd be nice to go through it. So I was exploring the savannah and I fell into a ravine. I saw something up ahead, and before I could figure out what it was, I fell in. And you can see I've only taken a heart and a half for my horse. That's because I fell on top of this pig, so it kind of broke my fall. But I was just thinking, can you stack out of here using blocks? Because it's going to be a pain to get out of here. So if I hold down right click, and let's try and get right in the center, and then I do a full jump, look at that. You see we can place a block directly below us, and that means we should be able to stack out of here. Yes, we are, aren't we? Excellent. And I think we are now safely out. Excellent. Ha! It's good to know that you can do that. Awesome. So a whole bunch more of this track is done. We should go and have a look at it. And I gotta say, where is your lead? I think it broke when the chunk unloaded. Yes, when I came over here, or when it loaded. I thought that had been fixed, because recently I haven't been having that problem. So maybe it's just something that can happen every now and then. And look, some guy's going to come and shoot me. Let's go and ride through the part of this track that I've done. Now this has taken me a long time. You know, there's been terraforming, I've been placing down fence posts, and I tell you what, the fence posts, you can see them when you're sitting on top of a horse, but when you're walking around at this height, they're a little bit lower and they kind of get camouflaged in by the grass, which is annoying. And another thing I've been doing is removing all of the too high grass, because that stuff's really annoying. It really kind of obscures your view. But let's just follow these around. I haven't actually ridden through this on a horse yet, so it gets a little bit narrow in places, and yeah, we're going to need some bigger indicators to show you where the track is going, because it turns to the left here and it doesn't become apparent until it's right in front of you. But we go over towards Hypno's base. That's great. We get to see a little bit of a view of that as we make our way around the racetrack. And I realise this is a massive project. You know, I want to come back here and redo these fences at some point, put down some kind of markers that are a little more obvious and interesting to look at, and then there'll be all kinds of different builds and things that I want to do along the way. And so far I have done about a fifth of the entire track, and I was hoping to get a lot more than that done in one episode. But then here you see we go through the desert, and it's a little bit boring. You can see the fence posts are there, kind of guiding you in the right direction. And another thing is that I'm doing this knowing where these fence posts are. You know, I'm anticipating where they're going to be, because I kind of know how the track goes, and I really need to get someone to come and check this out who hasn't a clue. Now this bit, they're going to be a lot harder to see because of all the grass that is here. You can see the fence posts are just over there. I don't even know where the next ones are. And then it turns to the left somewhere here, and that's not really apparent at all. Let's remove some of this grass around here. Oh. It's kind of tricky to do this when you're on a horse. So now when we come through, it is a tiny bit more obvious. Yeah, that helps a little bit, but I need to come back through and do all of this again. I'm just putting down the markers so that we can, you know, get other people working on this project if they are interested in it. So around here I decided to use the trees as guidelines as well, so all the fence posts go next to them, and the sun is going down. Feels like it was only day just a moment ago. Anyway, it goes through this nice valley, so we've got the hills on either side, then we're going to go across a river, so there'll be another opportunity to build a bridge over here. I'm actually looking forward to doing that. And one thing I didn't do here is a bit of terraforming. I actually missed that, and we might want to make this less steep. Although the horse can go up it, I think it's nicer to have a good gradient. And so then there's a sharp turn to the left, which you can't really see actually. There's no fence posts in the corner. So yeah, lots of things need touching up. We're just getting down the basic track, and so it goes straight ahead here. You can see some of the fence posts on either side, and they line up with the trees again on either side here. And this is a bit I just finished doing a moment ago because there's a bunch of caves under there. And now we've got to be careful because there's a ravine here, and we need to make it obvious that that's there as you come up to this. So maybe the fence posts will go across to either side, and we're probably going to do the same thing again as on the other ravine and just have some glass so you can go straight across. And that was kind of nervy. This one is a lot deeper actually, isn't it? But this is where it ends, right here. This is as far as I've gone, and what I want to do is just kind of shimmy around to the side a little bit so we can, and this is going to be awkward, we're going to have to push this guy across the water, and we want to go to this bit over here next. And the reason why is because going over these hills is going to be a little bit of a pain. So then the track is going to go off in this direction, and now we're quite far away from anything, and there's a lot of desert here. So somewhere around here we're probably going to head over in this direction, and then there's an area we're going to go and make the track go through that I really want to show you. And there goes the horsey. Don't drown. Don't drown. Let's push him across. So I'm gonna go over to this area and show you it when I get there. So a lot of time has passed by since I last recorded, and I cannot stress that it really has been a long time, and I have done a long part of this track, which we are going to go over in a second. I went exploring around the Extreme Hills area for the one that I found before. I found this really nice location that I wanted to take the horse track through, and I couldn't find it again. And I really have, I think, explored most of it, so that's just unfortunate. But anyway, this is where we were when we last recorded. We got up to this ravine, and so I decided to bring the track across here. We're going to have a diagonal bridge one day in the future that leads you down onto this bit, and then we go through the desert. And as I said, I have spent a lot of time. I think I've probably spent more time on this bit than I have done for the rest of the episode. And am I going the right way? No. Sometimes it can be a little confusing when you look at the fence posts, and that's something we've got to go back round and do for pretty much most of this track. And I'm starting to think maybe I should have done that from the beginning, because it really does take a long time to get round the whole of this track. But it's going to be awesome when it's done. You know, everyone's going to be able to explore the server, see lots of sights. You know, I'm hoping people will jump in and build things on the track and around it as well, you know, make it nice and interesting. But the size of this project is just, it's epic. And that is, I thought we were turning right there. We turn right at the hill here, and again the grass makes it a little bit difficult. And then we go round to the left here. So when I was exploring, I did find something very interesting actually. It was an Extreme Hills biome mountain thing, and the whole thing was made out of gravel. I'd never seen that before. They must have changed that in 1.7, but there is literally gravel everywhere. It's like an Extreme Hills mountain, and there's nothing but gravel. And we're going to go have a look at that in a moment. But when I got over to this bit here, I had a look around, and there was this cave. You can't quite see it because it was dark originally. Now I've lit it up with torches. You can't really see it as well. It kind of blends into the mountain. But the fence posts guide you in this direction. There's going to be a bridge that leads into this. When I saw this cave, I had to check out and see if it went through to the other side, which it did. So I've actually since modified this, filled in all of the gaps, because there are other caves here as well. And now, and I always take damage on that bit, I'm going to change that. Just those two blocks right there. Every time I come through, I always take damage on them. But anyway, you come out the other side here, go up to the top, and I think that is a really nice part of this horse track. So when you're at the top here, you get led through again the fence posts, and there aren't any on this side, are trying to kind of lead you in the right direction. And it goes over to the side here and across this area. This bit was nice and easy actually. There's been a lot of terraforming and digging that I've done, and then this bit was fairly straightforward. Now there is a really big gorge here that goes through. It's a gorge and a river, and I'm looking forward to building a bridge across this, although there's already quite a few, so maybe we can get someone like Corrales in to build ourselves a bridge on that part right here. But anyway, it goes straight ahead. There was a little bit that went across here that I decided to cut through, so you kind of just go through the middle of that. And I've done some terraforming over here, leveling this out, and this is pretty much as far as I've got now. So when we go to the left here, this is pretty much the end of the line for now. What I want to do here is go through this part of the mountain up there. I want to actually go up a staircase and straight through the mountain, which I think could be really cool. And the reason for that is because on the other side there is some pretty cool Extreme Hills formation. And this could have been the one that I saw before Although I'm pretty sure if I saw the same one it would kind of jump out at me, but I did just spend hours exploring all over the place, all around this map, and I couldn't find it again, and I'm probably taking the worst route to get over to this side. Don't fall. Oh. Oh well, it's okay. So we will come out just there, under that cave. That's the way I want to do it. Or overhang even. I think that'll look real cool. We could build like a platform that leads all the way across through this little gap, and then we go through here, and we go over some of this plateau area, and then we're going to go down here. Now this area, in fact I need to get off the horse to kind of show you, it's going to be quite difficult to work with because there's the water coming down the side. There appears to be some caves at the surface and the trees and everything like that. What we'll probably do is remove all of these trees and have something that kind of goes around to the side and around the back of there. And before this guy runs away, I want to go around the side and show you where the track is going after that, which is going to be difficult. It's kind of hard climbing trees on a horse. There we go, we've done it. Now we can just pop up here with a little bit of a jump. Nope, that wasn't enough. There we go. And again, and we're out. So we would come around the side here, and then we'd probably have to carve our way through this forest, and then we're just going to head in this direction. And there's someone's base and a whole bunch of other things over there that I want to show off. And that is the plan for now. That is as much as I've done and what I plan to do. And now I want to show you where all that gravel is, and I think it might be this one right here. Oh, let's hop up. If it's not, I'm going to have to do a little bit of exploring. It doesn't appear to be this one. Aha! I do believe I have found it. This grey area in front of you may look like stone, but let's go and have a closer look. You can see it's gravel, and there is nothing but gravel everywhere here. Now I'm going to guess that this is probably not a bug, it's probably a terrain feature, and if we have a look at the F3 screen, you can see here it's Extreme Hills M, so maybe a feature of that is that everything is covered in gravel. I was kind of curious as to how much of it would have been gravel, because if you have a look over here, it looks like it's 5 or 6 blocks before there's stone, but it would have been pretty crazy if all of the stone in this biome was gravel. But anyway, let's do a quick dig and have a look. So we should go down, yeah, like 3 or 4, 5 or 6 blocks, and let's just chuck that down there. And so yeah, I found this when I was exploring, and I found it pretty interesting. Maybe some of you have already seen it, but I thought I'd share it anyway. And it is literally all of this area down here, and the mountain up there as well. You can see it's all covered in it. So we have got a lot done in this episode, and I was just thinking, for some of you it may have been a little bit dull. You know, I've just been doing terraforming and placing down fence posts. But this project is going to get bigger and bigger. We're going to be turning this into something awesome over time. You know, like I've said, building different things at various locations, bridges, all that kind of stuff. And it's something you can't really do in one day and one episode. And we have to make a start for this thing to work. But I think what I want to do in the next episode is start getting some other people involved. So I'll be leaving some instructions at Hermit Town, and then I'll be putting down signs and all kinds of indicators to point out where, you know, people can build, and we'll probably divide the track into sections, and you know, someone can take on a section and do something with it, make it interesting, whatever it is they want to do. But that is going to be it for this episode. I've spent a hell of a long time on this, longer than I normally do, and for some of you this episode might not seem like that, but I assure you, going around and scouting out for the places to put this track, and then travelling back and forth, terraforming, building all of these fence posts everywhere, it's been a little bit crazy. But that is it for this episode. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like, it will always be appreciated. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.